Hello, hi, I'm Joseph Lee. I'm the owner of LDPC. Today I'm making this video in order to tell you about an LDPC decoder IP core that I'm looking to sell. Okay, I started doing this design about 4.5, almost 5 years ago. This is a 5G LDPC decoder IP core. You're probably wondering why does it take that long? It's because my main target is to shoot for high throughput. I wanted my design to have very high throughput, so much so that it ranks at least top 3 in the world. Okay, and I've gone through two major changes because each time I was almost done, I realized my throughput was still not up to satisfaction. I mean, my satisfaction. I have very high standards for the throughput, so I wanted to be at least the top 3 in the world. Okay, but the first two architectures didn't reach that goal, so I made 2 major changes. So I'm now onto my 3rd architecture now, and I'm finally very happy with the throughput. I'll tell you the numbers in a little bit, but right now I want to let you know that I'm looking to sell off this LDPC decoder. Now I'm not completely done yet. I'm still in the process of designing the RTL code, but the core decoder is done. Okay, the core, the LLR memory, extrinsic memory, and all the check node processors. So I'm able to measure the number of clock cycles to do decodes. Also, I have C model that reflects exactly the hardware, so that I can run Monte Carlo simulation. So I'm at a point where I can measure throughput. Okay, because I know exactly the number of clock cycles to do something, and I can run FPGA synthesis to know the clock speed. So from those 2 numbers, I can calculate throughput based on certain number of iterations. Also, because I have the Monte Carlo simulation environment ready using C code, I can measure the bit error rate. Also, the FPGA synthesis gives me the size, at least when I target the FPGA. Okay, I don't have an ASIC library, so I'm not able to run ASIC synthesis. So I don't know what the size is gonna be if you synthesize with a target towards ASIC. Okay, so I have the number for bit error rate, throughput, and FPGA size. Okay, so from these numbers, we know the final design is gonna be. Okay, I just have some peripherals I haven't put in yet. For example, the CSR, I don't have that yet. The CSR block for runtime configuration by software. I don't have the output logic yet, where I extract the signs of the LLRs to get the hard decision bits out of the design. Also, I haven't implemented early termination in the hardware yet. Early termination based on syndrome, for example. I don't have that yet. So these are the peripherals. At least I consider them as peripherals. They don't affect the core decoder's performance in terms of its throughput, bit error rate, and it will affect size. Okay, when I'm all done with all the peripherals, of course the size will be bigger. But anyways, I just want to let you know, I started this design about 4.5 years ago, approaching 5 years now. I'm finally happy with the core decoder logic, but because of certain financial situations, I'm exploring the possibility of selling off this IP, and I'm looking for potential buyers. But of course, I would only sell it if the price is right. If the price is not right, I would just hang on to it and look for other solutions. Meanwhile, if you're not interested in buying this IP, but you're interested in investing in me or my company, LDPC, that would be very welcome too. So anyways, let me tell you a little bit about the numbers that I achieved, right? So you have an idea. Now remember, I told you from the get-go, my focus or my target was throughput. I want my design to have very, very high throughput. I want to be top 3 in the world. I think I have reached top 2, okay? But of course, I'm just one person, so I don't have a lot of espionage information. I don't have my own CIA, okay? I can do investigation into each company, but based on what other companies have announced in the public domain, and based on what I can find, what they've said about their own design, I think I'm number 2. I found one company having higher throughput than mine. But then I also found the paper that they wrote describing their architecture. I realized they reached that very high throughput by sacrificing the concept of full layeredness. Okay, I didn't sacrifice the layered operation in the decoding algorithm. Okay, I adhere to the idea of 100% full layeredness. In other words, my decoder runs layer by layer, and the LLRs of every layer are all fully updated before I run the next layer. So I maintain this principle in my decoding algorithm, and I achieved such high throughput. Okay, so I just want to mention that. I think my throughput is very good. You ready? The throughput is, when you run base graph 1, 8 iterations. My throughput is 4.43. Hang on. Is it 4.23 or 4.43? Give me a second. 4.23. Okay, 4.23 gigabits per second. And when you run base graph 2 at 8 iterations, it's 3.54 gigabits per second. Okay, so the peak throughput that everybody advertises, for me, it's 4.23 gigabits per second. Okay, now bit error rate. Base graph 1 looks really good. By the way, I'm gonna attach a product brief so you can see some bit error rate graphs that I have. For base graph 1, the graph looks really, really nice, really good. Okay, it goes straight down. For base graph 2, it shows a little error floor. Okay, but all the error floors are all below 10 to the minus 5th bit error rate. Okay, now you may say, oh, you have error floors. What are you gonna do about it? Or isn't that bad news? Isn't that bad? I'll tell you this. My decoding algorithm is simply min sum with adjustment. Okay, I didn't invent any new decoding algorithm that doesn't exist on the market or not described in some textbooks. Okay, it's min sum with adjustment, and adjustment can be either scale or offset. Okay, and I adhere to the per layer, layered decoding. Okay, so whatever bit error rate you can achieve, that's what my design achieves, right? You can look up any textbook, and that would be my performance in terms of bit error rate. Of course, there are some runtime adjustments that can affect the bit error rate results, and you can adjust that. For example, the min sum adjustment amounts, either scale or offset, you can play with that. Also, the saturation after arithmetic operation in the decoding, in the decoder hardware. In my design, that is adjustable. So you can play with those numbers, and you can push the error floor up and down. But at the end of the day, my decoding algorithm is the standard min sum with adjustment, adhering to the full layeredness. Okay, so the way I achieve such high throughput is by having good hardware architecture, not by sacrificing any of the decoding algorithm. Okay, so my point is, even though my design, the bit error rate performance curve shows error floor, I don't think it's anything to worry about, because my decoding algorithm is very standard. Okay, so bit error rate looks good. Throughput, I reached 4.23 gigabits per second at 8 iterations for base graph 1. For size, I'll tell you, size is a little big, but it's not too bad. Okay, on Xilinx FPGA, okay, Xilinx Kintex Ultra Scale Plus FPGA, the numbers I achieved there are 39K flip-flops or registers. Okay, 39K registers, 454 block RAMs, and 194K LUTs or LUTs. Now LUTs, the LUT number 194K, that I admit that's big, but I think that number wouldn't be really bad if you target the ASIC. Also big because my total number of registers is not that big. But if you use FPGA, it'll occupy some almost 200K LUTs. But FPGA is FPGA. The resources are there for you to use. If you don't use it, if you don't use them, you waste them. Unless you want to have a whole bunch of other things on the same FPGA, or you want to have multiple instances of this decoder. Then I admit, yeah, 200K LUTs, that's pretty big. It's pretty big. But keep in mind, my throughput is very, very high, 4.23 gigabits per second. Okay, so that's about it. I don't want to talk too long. I probably already have. Thank you for listening. Let me know if you're interested in either buying this decoder or investing in me, so I can continue with the design and finish it, and we can talk about any creative deal, whatever you have in mind. Just send me an email. Okay, bye. Thank you. Bye.